Yeah, can we start this episode talking about Chris Paul? I know you're
like
a fan
it.
of. I know
Franchise changer.
this guy.
Franchise changer. Everybody calls him, says, he doesn't have a ring. He doesn't have this and that. But like I always say, winning a ring does not make your career. It makes your career successful, but it's not the only thing that matters. Like every time Chris Paul goes into a franchise, he helps make them successful. He has a positive impact on winning. He's a franchise changer. Hornets, franchise changers. Los Angeles Clippers, franchise changer. Houston Rockets, franchise changer. Phoenix Suns, franchise changer.
I'm happy for him. Wherever he goes, his team wins. Do you think, it matters that he hasn't won a ring though? Because again, not to be the ass or the bad guy, but when, his name gets compared to the greats, right? Will him not having a ring mean that much?
Yeah, it means that much because like it's the only thing stopping him from me getting crazy. And for a lot of people getting crazy. Because if he gets one ring, it's certain people, I hate to say it, but like it's certain people in this game of basketball that one ring will suffice their legacy and will kind of take them above like guys that got multiple rings. I'm sorry, because like skill set matters, talent matters, well-roundedness matters. A lot of those things matter. And when you talk about the resume. So it would get scary for a lot of reasons.
And I
hold off on the reasons. Hold off on the reasons though.
Why? I don't know why. But anyway,
until he gets a ring, because it gets crazy if he gets a ring this year.
Okay. I will say though, the good thing is that like he'll be getting a ring while he's still good.
Yeah,
right. Like it'll be a legitimate ring because some players have gotten that one ring, but it was like towards the tail end of their career. So it was like, all right, it was
kind of how they do Dwight Howard a little bit.
Yeah, but not.
Yeah. That's how they do Dwight.
Right. I wouldn't like if I'm talking about sinners, I wouldn't bring up Dwight's ring. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like, and it's not a knock to Dwight, of course, but like it's different versus when you win it in your prime. It's different when you win it when you that number one guy.
Or you just still have a positive impact on winning and you're starting
right,
and you playing high minutes and stuff like that. Because I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and so like in a situation like that, I'm definitely happy, of course, for the player to win. Considering everything, especially you mentioned Dwight Howard, but obviously people like Chris Paul, Melo, right, is another name that comes to mind. It's like considering everything that they've gone through, right, the criticism and all of that, for them to get one would be special. So for them as a person, much respect, congratulations. But I think when you win the ring, who you win it against, who you win it with, is definitely important. But for now, right, just acknowledging that Chris Paul, wherever he goes, you can say what you want, but he wins. And it's not easy too to win championship, right?
Yeah.
Like it is. Like you look at some of even the top point guards, right? It's very hard to win championship when you're the best player. When the best player on your team is a point guard, right? We could talk about Stephen all day long, but a couple of his championships came with Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
right?
Historically, it's hard winning a championship as the best player as a point guard. Like we think about like Isaiah Thomas, we think about Stephen Curry, we think about Allen Iverson. He didn't win, but like the way he took them there, and then like he got a win against probably arguably a top 3 greatest team of all time. So it's like it's extremely hard. Like that's why when people talk about like guys in this era, this NBA, and talk about like, no matter if you think that Trae Young a better player than Luka Doncic, or do you think Luka Doncic is a better player than Trae Young, most people are going to probably gravitate towards Luka Doncic because it's more easier to win a ring with a wing than it is a point guard historically. And I believe like, Chris Paul, if he gets another opportunity this year, like he got it. Last year it was just kind of like, all right, it was your first time or whatever in the finals and stuff like that, but you don't know if you're going to be back. Like, we don't know if he's going to be back. The Suns may win. They may lose. They may not even make it to the finals. We don't know. But it's just kind of like, if you get that opportunity, make sure that you go out and do anything in your power, because it's very, very difficult, like you said, to be the point guard, especially when you're a small point guard, and try to get a championship. So it's tough. It's definitely tough.
And fortunately for him, his second best player, or the other great player that he has on his team, is the MVP candidate.
The best player on the team.
Right, yeah. But in a situation like that, it's like, well, I think you're in a good situation to win. But like, he's in a good enough situation to win, but it's also not like he's like completely far away from being the best player.
No,
right? Like I would say I would say like Devin Booker is the best player, but it ain't like Chris Paul is some,
No. He has that's what I get what you're saying. Like Chris Paul is a still all-star caliber player.
Exactly.
That's what you mean. I definitely get what you say. He's not like just a guy coming off the bench.
He's not a role player.
He's not a role player. He's not a spot starter. He's a legit all-star caliber guard. And that's another thing that we don't talk about. We talk about longevity. We talk about LeBron James a lot, but we got to give Chris Paul some praise because, like, this brother's been around for a minute, and his game is still like he's still really good. Like he's still a top 5 point guard probably in this league if you break things down. Like, if you look at the eye test, you look like production. You look like him leading and orchestrating the offense. Like he's top 5. So and that's impressive. So shout out to Chris Paul. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns. And I hope I hope they get it done. Like I wouldn't mind seeing the Phoenix Suns win a championship. Like
you think they can? You think they can though? Like realistically, and again, like I said, they are the best team in the league. And I don't think there's any knocking that at this point. Yeah. But being the best team is a lot different than winning the whole thing.
That's
you
true.
Feel me? So you think they can win?
I feel like, I think they can win. I feel like I told you. What was like 10 podcasts ago? We had this conversation about like the most like balanced teams in the NBA. I feel like they have one of the most balanced teams in the NBA. When we talk about starters, we talk about guys coming in playing, defense. We talk about, having guys that can score and give the ball to and say, take me to the promised land. Like they got a lot of those things. So I feel like they can definitely win a championship this year. And they probably should be like the favorites to win it all, especially with the way they've been playing this regular season.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't see right now anyone like getting in their way, right? Or like anyone that like has made it clear, at least on the West, but anyone who's made it clear, like, okay, we're going to give them some serious count. I mean, maybe.
I mean, you go to say when Stephen Curry gets back, it's serious. It's serious.
Of course.
I would say another team they should be worried about, and they should hope they don't have to face in the first round, and that's the Los Angeles Clippers, because Paul George has done it. He's been the best player in taking teams to the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals, like being the go-to guy. He's back. He's healthy. He's looking right. Norman Powell just came back. He's looking right based off the game that I just saw the other day. Like they're a problem. Like they got dogs on their team and they got hoopers. And don't let Kawhi Leonard come back. Then they really can get spooky in the first round if they have to play like a team like the Phoenix Suns. But I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. I hope the Phoenix Suns don't play the Los Angeles Clippers because I need Memphis Grizzlies smoke. That's what I need. I need the Clippers to play the Memphis Grizzlies so the Clippers can beat the Memphis Grizzlies in the first round.
Why? There's beef with Memphis on your end?
No, it's not beef. It's not beef with Memphis. It just needs, I like Memphis, but I think they just need a little humbling. That's just how I feel. I think they need to be humble a little bit. Nah, it's no beef. I just think they need to be humble. So they need to be humble a little bit.
So maybe the thought process is let's wait until they actually do something during the postseason.
That's all I'm saying. Before people start talking about like, it's people that feel like the Memphis Grizzlies are a championship caliber team. I don't personally feel that way, but it's just like that's the talk. Like people talking about what they do without Ja Morant. It's people even saying like, they'll be a top 3 team without Ja Morant. I'm like, all right, whatever y'all want to say. I can't really go that far, but it's just kind of like, they're young. They're energetic. They're cocky. I love it. I love their attitude. But you know what? Sometimes you need to be humbled. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, that Clippers team is a great, that'll be a great opportunity for them to get a little taste of humble pie.
I'm trying to think, like usually in situations like that where you have a good team, especially come postseason, it's usually one player that ends that. Like an opponent. It's not like, all right, they lost to a team that was better than them. They probably lost. And I'm thinking of the Hawks that year where they lost to LeBron. Everyone's talking about the Hawks are great. The Hawks are this. They didn't have LeBron James, so they lost. We saw what LeBron has done to the Raptors, right? Yeah. Raptors had great teams. They didn't have LeBron James, so they lost. Now, fortunately for the Grizzlies, there's no one that I can think of, off the top of my head at least, like that in the West. I mean, Stephen Curry, right? But I mean, with injuries and, they play more team ball than just, LeBron or KD being as dominant or Giannis being those dominant type of players. So that may work out in their favor, right? Unfortunately for you, but that may work out to their favor.
Yeah, it may. I mean, I'm just saying. I just feel like they need to be humble. I'm not saying I don't care. I don't care. First off, I don't care who win the championship. Like, I just want to see good basketball. I just want to see good playoff basketball. But I will say, like, sometimes on the road to success, like, it takes some adversity. And I just don't feel that, like, when I talk about humbling, I talk about, like, yo, sometimes, like, you need those experiences of, like, not winning, like, super young to get over the hump and stuff like that. Even though OKC went through that. Like, Kevin Durant just had a podcast talking about, like, yo, how, like, OKC got to, like, the finals that year, but it was, like, really no pressure. They wasn't kind of expected to win. He talks about, like, yo, them kind of getting that over, like, having those expectations, like, yo, we are a championship caliber team. Like, we're expected to win and stuff like that. So sometimes I feel like that adversity can help a young team going forward in the future. That's what I mean by, like, getting humble a little bit. Because right now it's just like, oh, like, we're on top, like, this and that. It's a regular season. But, like you always say, none of that shit matters. Like, you know, people give a lot of credit to the regular season, a great team and stuff like that. But when we seen historically, you know, we watched the game, like the Atlanta Hawks for all those years, that shit didn't matter in the regular season. The Utah Jazz, that shit didn't matter in the regular season. And the Memphis Grizzlies could be that next team where we're looking at, like, yo, especially if they play a team with Paul George and a healthy roster, regardless if they have Kawhi Leonard or not. If they got Paul George leading the way, we may find out real soon if they line up and match up with the Memphis Grizzlies that, you know what, that regular season success, that shit really didn't matter. So,
yeah, but I just wouldn't say, you know, the thing is that the teams that you mentioned had in common was that they faced an opponent where, again, they had that dominant, you know, player, that dominant figure. And I just wouldn't put, I still think Paul George may be the best player in that series, but I wouldn't give him the credit the same way I would, you know, Bron and Giannis, guys that have, you know, and again, Paul George has definitely cooked in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. Like, you feel me? Playoff P has returned. But in terms of, you know, Bron was canceling an entire city. They were an entire, like, the Hawks won player of the month or some shit, or of the week when there was 5 of them. And so all that was clipped by one dude. Right. And so, again, I think the Clippers are getting healthy at the right time, though.
Yeah, I think Paul George can clip them. I think Paul George is that guy. Like, he's had, like you said, he's had moments. Like, it's not like he just brought the Clippers to their first ever Western Conference Finals appearance. It wasn't Kawhi Leonard, it was Paul George. You know what I'm saying? He beat some good teams on the way. Like, nobody really thought the Clippers, after Kawhi Leonard went down, they was like, oh, it's over with. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that going into a series versus the Memphis Grizzlies, Paul George and the Los Angeles Clippers looking like, yo, like, we the underdogs, or like, they're worried about the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they're going to go into that series like, yo, we supposed to beat them guys. I really think that's going to be their mentality because, like you said, I still believe, like, in the series, Paul George, I know John Moran has been great, phenomenal, special, all those great things, but I still feel like in a series of that magnitude, if it lines up, if it matches up, my money would probably be on Paul George and Los Angeles Clippers over the Memphis Grizzlies.
But you know what, though? Then it might come down to John Morant, too.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
if he's here, if he's really here, like people say in the regular season.
Well, that's true. But, and I think, again, the difference between those Hawks teams and this Grizzlies team is that the Grizzlies have a superstar. Right? The Grizzlies have a star. The Grizzlies have a guy who I feel like is a legitimate all-star. They play team ball, don't get me wrong, but they also have a guy that has proven that they can get it done. So it's kind of like they have the best of both worlds.
So did the Utah Jazz with Donovan Mitchell.
That's fair. It's not too much I can debate against that, but
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
But again, we'll this is one of those examples where, you know, it doesn't really matter what you do in the regular season if you fold in the playoffs.
Talk about it.
But for now, you know, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and talk about, you know, they've been playing well, winning games without Ja. Now, the only thing that I'm gonna draw the line on is when people try to get active and say, you know, you hear people say things like the Grizzlies are better without Ja Morant. Come on.
Yeah,
like, I get it, right? You give flowers when a team is playing well with or without their best player, but at the same time, come on, y'all, let's not be fools, right? We're adults, right? You know, give them a round of applause for playing good basketball without Ja Morant.
Yeah,
but if they're going to thrive in the playoffs, if they're going to win the way they expect to, best believe it's Ja Morant is going to have to be playing well. Like, it ain't going to be oh yeah, you know, they just got hot at the right moment. No. That might work in the regular season.
Yeah.
Right? Again,
this is not a,
congrats.
This is not
come playoff time, you need that star like Ja Morant. Let's cut all that noise.
I hate that noise too, because it's not a situation like the Golden State Warriors when Kevin Durant went down. It's just like, no, y'all still a championship caliber team. Like, we not gonna do that. We not gonna sit up and say like, now that Kevin Durant went down, like, yo, y'all should have went. No, y'all still a championship caliber team. It's not that situation with the Memphis Grizzlies. Even back when in the Eastern Conference, who got hurt? I can't remember right now, but it was like a situation where it was just kind of like, nah, y'all still kind of supposed to like get it done. I can't think of it. It was like the Miami Heat when Chris Paul got hurt. Not Chris Bosh got hurt that one year. Chris Bosh got hurt. He went down and stuff like that. And everybody was like, well, the Miami Heat are missing, they're missing their big three. No, y'all got the way LeBron James. Y'all still supposed to get it done.
But I don't think that's the same, though, only because we've seen what the Grizzlies have done without Ja. Right? So that's why some people might feel that way. Like there's evidence
in the regular season.
Right. Again, I know that. I'm just saying, like, if there's evidence and if they want to say, well, we have one without him, in that sense, right, numbers don't lie. They have one without him. But people with brain cells, said no, that Femi, come playoff time, you're going to need Ja Morant healthy and hopefully playing good basketball.
It's okay. It's okay to sit up and say that a team would be a playoff team still without a star player, but that star player takes some. It's like a playoff team. All right, there'll be a playoff team. That star player makes them a contender. Like I used to say all the time, like the Milwaukee Bucks will be a playoff team without Giannis. But Giannis makes him a championship contender. He knocks the ceiling off the roof. Ja Morant knocks the ceiling off the roof. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is afraid of Memphis. Yeah, they're a playoff team. They made it to the playoffs first round like the Indiana Pacers. Oh, they play hard. Like, yo, they made it to the first round. Like, good job. But ain't nobody afraid of the Indiana Pacers. Just like people wasn't really afraid of like the Atlanta Hawks. It's like, y'all ain't really got no star.
But again, though, even running into that situation.
Back in the day.
Right. No, I know what you mean. Depending on which Pacers team you're talking about, they end up losing to the Miami Heat, who had LeBron James. And so again, it's like maybe this is the year.
I wasn't talking about that Pacers, but go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I just heard. I just if you run into a team that has a dominant guy, sure. But if you don't, hey. Listen, I get what you're saying. You play who you play. You feel me? Your matchup is your matchup. If they get lucky enough to, play a team that they fit up well against, hey, it ain't their fault.
Nah, that's not their fault. It's not their fault they played the Denver Nuggets, who got guys starting that probably shouldn't be started. You know what I'm saying? Like if they play the Denver Nuggets, but it gets nasty if we see this possibly 2-time MVP go out and knock off a healthy Memphis Grizzlies team with a young star in Ja Morant without a legit roster. It gets nasty for the Memphis Grizzlies. It don't get nasty for the Clippers. I mean, the Denver Nuggets. But don't get nasty for the Denver Nuggets. They don't get nasty for the Denver Nuggets. Not with this roster that he got.
I'm pulling up standings right now. All right, so we got Memphis is currently at 2 again at the day of this recording. All right, so they would probably play the Timberwolves. Let's say the Timberwolves get 7. Ooh. Will we see Minnesota in the second round?
Ooh, that's what I'm saying. Playoff bat, I'm ready. Ooh, because that's another team that a lot of teams like. I feel like if the Minnesota Timberwolves play the Suns, it's clipped. 5-game series, pat on the back.
Minnesota okay, I'm with you.
They play 5-game series, pat on the back. Good job. But like if you play a young team that ain't really been there before, and you ain't really been there before. Y'all both don't know what y'all doing. This is the first time y'all really like, both got some expectations.
It's only my third day.
Exactly. Like it's whatever. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? I know the Memphis Grizzlies went to the playoffs last year, but they wasn't like, we you know what I'm saying? Like it's serious. Like, like Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Evers, D-Lo done been there, like Ja Morant, like Jerry Jackson. It's like that could be either like the Memphis Grizzlies could show they were like their dominance in the first round, like, we really are a good team. Like, we handle those guys, or he get really nasty very fast.
So, I mean, look, the Grizzlies are 55-24, right? And so I get on paper.
Memphis Grizzlies,
right? It could be clipped, right? Well, in some people's eyes, just because of, the lack of experience, all that. But 55-24 is 55-24. You feel me? Yeah. That is a very, very good record. To conclude the season with 55 wins, if they were to do that, right? There's still ball games left. That's good. To be a 2 seed, you're a 2 seed for a reason. So, but see, that's the thing too. And again, if we give the Grizzlies or even Josh as an individual the credit of saying they're really like that, or he himself is a top 10 player, top 5 point guard, the expectations will be set. Yeah. And so if you as a team feel like, yo, we're not getting the credit we deserve, am I still allowed to hold you at the standard of if you lose in the first round, that means you choked? Because again, if they go out to the second round, if they go to the Western Conference Finals, I'm going to say, yeah, they like that. I will. But if they lose, I'm going to be consistent. So, listen, I'm not going to change my perspective, or if I do, it'll only be because of how they played. It won't be an excuse, right? Yeah. Like, you get a 2 seed. I don't care if you play the damn Timberwolves, Clippers, Pelicans, or Spurs. Win. You're a 2 seed. Last year was different. Yeah. And again, listen, if you're a team that wants smoke, I'm not mad at it. Even if you're a team that hasn't proven anything, I get it. Play with a chip on your shoulder. I respect it. But just know when it's time to perform, you feel me? You feel me?
I think this playoffs is going to be very interesting. I'm very excited for it, especially in the Eastern Conference. We've been talking about it all year in the regular season. Like, the Eastern Conference, the bloodbath. Right now, we got teams that, like, it ain't no like taking your foot off the pedal this last little week right now in the regular season, because like we got the second seed can be the 6th seed, the 6th seed can be the second seed all in a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I'm very excited, especially in the Eastern Conference.
And unless I'm tweaking, as of this recording, the 4th seed could be the 1 seed
in the East.
Yeah. Philly 2.5 games out. They got 3 games left. Miami has 2 games left. But I mean,
you don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen.
I don't think Philly's going to jump that high, but who knows?
Who knows? Teams can. I mean, we saw the Suns. They got nothing really played out.
I tell you what, though, just looking at this standings, tell you what, though, none of those teams in the top 4 better lose in the first round. I don't give a damn if you play Brooklyn Nets or not. Oof. You better not lose in that first round. And I tell you what, though, the Brooklyn Nets also better not lose in that damn playing game.
Well,
there's a lot of better knots happening. There's a lot of better knots happening. I don't know who's at the top, but the Brooklyn Nets better not lose to. Because so they'll be playing. Who is it? The Cavs, right? The Nets are 8 right now. Cavs are 7. Don't lose to the Cavs. Please don't lose to the Cavs. And then you mess around and play the Hawks on the Hornets in the second round, or in the second little tournament, the little thick ass playing game.
And to be honest,
don't let Trey get hot.
It's crazy though, because you've been on this whole year of talking about like, yo, check ball, play, let's run. And when you get to like a play-in situation, it don't even matter, because all it takes is one game. And one game. And look, one team getting hot. Like you said, don't let it be like the Hawks. You got a superstar.
That's what you're ready to say.
You got a superstar. You saw what Trey did. It take Trey one game, and one game he killing. Like he just killed the Brooklyn Nets by himself the other day. Dropped 4, like it was like 35 and like 15 or something. He went crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it take one. Don't let it
be Trey, because again, it's very similar to the NCAA tournament. One game, 48-minute ball game. Literally. First 83 games, including the play-in that you played, don't matter.
We saw that last year with the Golden State Warriors. People were shocked. We saw a damn good game with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, and went down to the wire. Then Ja Morant showed up, and that's when that's when really, like, we really should Golden State Warriors should really be like a little upset, because like, yo, they started the dominance for the Memphis Grizzlies. That confidence that Ja had when he became in the season, talking about, yo, I feel like I'm a top 5 point guard in the world. Like, all that confidence came from being. Yeah, that came from beating Stephen Curry.
Where you think that came from?
He went crazy.
Respected. Why you think he feel that way?
Yeah,
he beat y'all.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It gets scary. It's basketball's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the standings now of more teams that. Okay, so the top 10 for the East is solidified. You feel me?
Yeah.
Hell, both sides actually.
Both sides. Yeah, we know the Spurs, the Pelicans gonna be.
Oh, that's nasty. That is nasty.
That's nasty.
Oh man, I hope they're not charging money to watch that game. That is nasty. That is nasty. Oh, I'm nauseous just thinking about it. So, we'll see who wins that game, but
apparently next year, like the play-in tournament is going to still be the same, but it's going to be some tweaks, some adjustments, like we were talking about. And you already know those adjustments. It's going to be like, yo, you can't. It's not going to be no play-in. You like 12 games under 500. It's going to probably be like, yo, play-in situation if you're like 3 to 4 games or 5 games under the 500. You know what I'm saying? Because once you start doing that, like once you start doing like 12 and 13, and you can still have a chance to make the playoffs, it gets kind of like. You can chill it, like, in the regular season don't really matter in a sense.
At that point.
It's like everybody getting a chance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's nasty. Like, even if the Lakers win, everybody talk about the Lakers, this and that. That's still nasty. Like, you know what I'm saying? You 31 and 50 going to the play-in. Like, what?
But you know what's funny? Who is it nasty for, though? Because if it's for whatever team, right? You enter the playing game and you're 32 and 50, and you win the first playing game. All right, that's nasty on the opponent. You win the second game. That's also nasty on the opponent. You beat the first round. That is disgustingly nasty. Yeah. You feel me? So who's it really nasty for?
That's not happening. That would be crazy. I don't think that would happen.
I'm just saying.
The only way I thought that would happen if it was like the Lakers. But I'm not a betting man, but I'll probably bet the whole yard if it's on the Spurs or the New Orleans Pelicans. Unless
no. Get them parlays popping and ready to play because I don't see that happen.
I don't see that's kind of crazy. Well, who knows? Yeah. Maybe Zion return. His stepfather came out the other day said that don't rule out. Like you never know what.
I do.
I didn't even think we didn't even think Paul George was going to return this year.
But Paul George wants to play for the. Never mind. That's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. That's Paul George is, but no, I get what you're saying, but there's a lot of different factors too.
No, that's wrong.
No. But that's even looking on the East, let's say the Hornets, right, 10 seed, could they beat the Miami Heat in the first round, even though they kind of got clapped in Miami the other day?
It'd be good. It'll be good. Like it'll be good playoff experience if they can get into the playoffs. I think that will help. Like. Elevate guys' confidence like we saw with Ja Morant, especially coming into the next season with like maybe possibly with LaMelo Ball. But no, because Miami is one of those teams that they have a balanced team. Like it's no way. No way in hell.
All right, well, they got a young team, so they're not. I know, of course they want to make the playoffs, but like, yeah, they'll be okay. LaMelo is still their star of the future. He's young, so it's not like their window is closing. You know what I mean? So I think they'll be all right. But then, you got Boston saying that too. Don't let Boston lose in the first round either. Because then, Cleveland win, right? They beat Brooklyn in that playing game. Cleveland gets the 7th seed. Boston's not going to lose to Cleveland, but if for whatever reason that did happen, comments will fly. Things will be said. And certain responsibilities will have to, be highlighted.
We'll see now. It's going to be interesting. I'm very looking forward to the playoffs. I'm looking forward to both conferences. And I'm really just hoping everybody can get healthy and stay healthy.
Yes.
Like, because there's a possibility that we may see Jamal Murray come back. We don't know what's going to happen with that. But, like, if he does come back, like, I just want a healthy, like, playoffs. Because I don't want any excuses. In the first round, in the second round, and damn sure not in the Eastern Conference in finals. Like, I just want a healthy, like, roster. I want to see a healthy Brooklyn Nets team go at whoever's number one, who's ever number two. I just want to see a healthy, like, matchup because, like, it's going to be fun because, like you said, expectations, like, got to be talked about. Comments will be discussed, like, depending on who wins, who loses, and stuff like that. The only team that I feel like people wouldn't really like, it is crazy. Like, if they lose, like, in the first round, it really wouldn't be no, like, of course, people will talk about it or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like this. If the Miami Heat lose in the first round, or the Boston Celtics lose in the first round to, like, or the Philadelphia Sixers lose in the first round to, like, let's say, I don't know, anybody, like, who would you have more, like, I'm not going to say smoke, but who would you think would be, like, the bigger, like, story?
If, like, one of the top 4 teams lost in the first round?
Yeah. So right now it's the Miami Heat, it's the Boston Celtics, it's the Philadelphia Sixers, and who else? It keeps changing. You know, it keeps changing.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say the Heat or the Celtics.
Okay.
It'd probably be Bucks or Sixers.
Okay, Bucks and Sixers. Okay, those four. Yeah, those are the 4 teams.
Yeah, it would be Bucks or Sixers. That's tough. If I had to choose one, I would.
Would you go to six?
I'd want to smoke for both of them. Both of them would require smoke, regardless. I'm not letting either of them, get off that easily. But I guess I would go Sixers because at the end of the day,
yeah, I'd probably go Sixers because of like James Harden wanted a new team. Like he's on a new team. Joel Embiid. This wouldn't be the first year where you had a top 4 seed and had expectations and championship caliber team. You guys lose and don't reach the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's just like we're hearing
that nasty work.
We're hearing things about Doc Rivers. Is Doc Rivers, is he an Eastern Conference Finals not appearance away from being like let go or doing something different? Like it's a lot of things that we're hearing with the Philadelphia Sixers. So like that would be very, very like nasty if they lose in the first round. But the Bucks would be nasty too.
Okay.
The Bucks would probably be nasty too as well.
You know what? That leads me into an actual cap or no cap.
Okay.
And it's about Philly. Cap or no cap, the Philadelphia 76ers will reach the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, that wasn't even.
And whatever word you're looking for, you haven't said cap or no cap.
That's not definitely cap. I'm not even worried about that. Yeah.
You're saying they won't make You're saying the Philadelphia 76ers won't make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, I'm saying that, yeah, definitely. Yeah. No cap. I said cap. No.
Okay.
That's no cap. They won't make the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm tripping. I said that's definitely cap, but I'm saying like that's cap. Like what you saying? Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, that's cap. But no cap. Yeah, no cap. No cap. They're not making the Eastern Conference Finals. I hope they do.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
Oh, you don't think they are? Why not? I
don't see it.
They'll play Miami in the first round. I mean, excuse me, second round if they win against Toronto.
A lot of teams don't want to play Toronto.
A lot of teams that do or don't.
That don't want to play Toronto. Them brothers get out there. They play hard. Pascal is like, and that show Pascal some love. Like Pascal's the first option on that team. Like I know it's a team-oriented game with the Raptors. They play like a lot of great team-friendly ball and stuff like that. But like they got a lot of dogs on the team.
Still, yeah.
And Pascal be like he be hooping. You know what I'm saying? He had to remind people this year, like, yo, he had a bad season last year, but like we're waiting for to see what he do in the playoffs because like he had a kind of a rocky playoffs the year before. But like the Raptors been hooping. So they got Fred VanVleet, another tough guard, 2-way guard. They got Gary Trent Jr., a legit starter, a legit sniper. They got Scotty Barnes, a rookie, a Giannis disciple. Like they got some players on, and they play hard. They play defense. Like a lot of those guys are two-way ability, 2-way dogs. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't be surprised if, I think the Philadelphia Sixers got a more likely losing in the first round than probably reaching the Eastern Conference Finals, to be honest. And
wow.
I hope I'm wrong.
Say that one more time.
The Philadelphia Sixers are likely to lose in the first round than reaching the Eastern Conference Finals. I'll probably say even reaching the second round, to be honest. I think they're more likely to lose in the first round than reaching the second round. I don't even think we had to talk about the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's a little heavy.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I haven't seen enough. You know, and I was high on him. Like I can't. We talk about James Harden and Joel Embiid. First off, I don't think James Harden is 100% healthy. That's one thing. And number two is just like I don't have any faith in. I don't have any faith in some of the other guys. Like for it's like that offense that they're running. Like unless it's Joel Embiid and James Harden, kind of like James Harden's to create opportunities for everybody. I know I like Tyrese Maxey a lot, but it's just like in Joel Embiid, like. I just feel like, I'm worried about Tobias Harris. You know what I'm saying? Like he's getting paid like a lot of money to put up 13, 14 points per game when he should be like being their X factor, taking them over the hump. You know what I'm saying? So I look at that like it's just I'm kind of worried about the Philadelphia Sixers. I'm more of the top 4 seeds. They're the biggest like team that I'm worried about.
Oh, out of the top four.
Out of the top 4 seed, like.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, at least the second round for me, I think is a shoo-in. Only because
a shoo-in. A shoo-in. A shoo-in.
I play this. I think Joel and James have been through enough where I think they both realize this is their year. You know what I'm saying? They both have dealt with, teammates that, whether they have liked, have not, whatever. The forces that have combined on that one team. I mean, you talk about, we haven't really seen a guard to big matchup like this in a very long time. And on top of that, we haven't seen two guys who didn't really like their previous situation join forces like this in a very long time.
Yeah.
And so now.
So you say they got something to prove?
They got something to prove. And honestly,
I respect
you can make the case that they probably have something to prove more than any of these other teams that we're talking about.
Because they're not champions. So a lot of, except for the Boston Celtics.
Neither of them are.
Except for the Boston Celtics, but them guys still kind of young. I know what you're saying. So
that's exactly what I'm saying. Everyone's going to use. If the Celtics lose in that first round, people are naturally going to use the young card, right? They're young, so they still have years. But if Philly loses, people are going to say, see, we knew you couldn't get it done. You got an MVP candidate on your team. You have an actual MVP on your team. How come you couldn't get it done this year? Especially if we talk about in the first round. We're not talking about losing to Brooklyn. We're not talking about losing to the first seed Miami Heat. You can't beat the damn Toronto Raptors. No shade to them. No shade at all. But if we're about to sit here and say that we thought you could win a chip, I can't ask for you to at least make it to the second round.
Yeah, or they could lose, or losing to possibly maybe if they get the 3 seed and playing like. Who's the 6 seed right
Chicago?
Now? Chicago. That's it's just it's. I think
either way, you need to win. I'm not saying it's not going to be a challenge. No, hey, you feel me? This is the NBA. We talking about playoff basketball. You're going to be going up against some good opponents. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not expecting a blowout. I'm not expecting a sweep. I'm expecting victory though.
Yep.
I'm expecting you to win. I'm expecting you to get 4 games before they do.
Yeah, that's real.
So, and that ain't too much. That ain't too hard to ask.
Yeah. So are you saying that they need to make sure that they stay in the 4 or 5 range, the 4-3 range,
as opposed to
the 1-2 range?
No, I mean I don't think like matchup wise, I'm pretty comfortable with them playing anyone. I do have.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I have championship expectations for 5 teams of the East. To me, I think if you want to make the case, I think all 5 teams should be a championship or failure kind of thing, or at least make it to the finals or failure kind of thing, including the Boston Celtics. Because at some point we're going to say, all right, are y'all young or are y'all good? Like you can be both, but like, them days of, well, they're young. That shit, this is probably y'all last season. We'll use that as an excuse. Y'all not teenagers no damn more.
That's true.
Either win or come on.
I mean, they got, it's crazy because they got more playoff success than Joel Embiid.
Right. You're right. But even still,
make a valid point. Yeah.
Even still, if I'm a Boston fan right now, to me, I've never been on the board of like, all right, you should trade Jason or trade Jalen.
Yeah,
no, you got 2 talented wings, which is rare.
Mm-hmm.
Is rare. You keep them, right? But at the same time, like I said, you're not 19, you're not 20. This thing, you know what I'm saying? You're not babies.
Sometimes things gets to a point where like, yo, if you're not reaching that certain like at least Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals appearances, we have a young roster, we have a talented group. It gets to a certain point. The Philadelphia Sixers went through that with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. It gets to a certain point like, yo, we know y'all young, we know y'all a great duo, but like something ain't working. So it's just like, we know we probably shouldn't break y'all up, but like, yo, we may have to try something new. You know what I'm saying? And that happens. So that could be like, yo, like this is the last year with Boston Celtics. When we talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, it's just like people are going to feel like, yo, like at least make it to the second round. At least try to compete for the Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Because at the same time, it's just like people are going to get tired. People are going to start the noise. And even though we view like these players and we understand like it's a team game and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, people are going to start saying things and people are going to be like, yo, like, it's always something. Just like they do with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Yeah, it's always something. Hopefully it doesn't come to that point for Boston.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. But, we'll see. I'm looking forward to a great playoffs. But yeah, housekeeping items. All right, make sure, of course, 5-star rating, Apple Podcasts. Get active with Spotify as well. Shout out to everyone that's listening on Facebook. Definitely appreciate y'all. Subscribe on YouTube. Okay. And just like that, y'all, we gone. Peace. What's up, y'all? It's Theus McBee. Make sure you go follow No Pump Fakes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts.